as an example of what we do if you want to use an index card. You see, 5, there's 2.5. Yeah. And the simplest. Match the marks, draw the line. If you want to keep it like this as your drawing, you'll find it's much easier when you have some a little bit larger. Hello, kitten. Now, just a very rough. I want to draw a gem and go. And because mine isn't blank on the back side, just a simple little like so. Hi, baby boo. Are you gonna head out now? Yeah? Get your fresh air? Okay, you be safe, baby. You be safe, baby. Now, when I'm working like this, I have more space. Like I said, hang on to it. Carefully hang on to it when you're doing the second one, which day 2. Grab that out. Day 2. Heraldry. So, heraldry on day 2 for me. Let's do a simple. I don't have any of my stencils here. So, simple heraldry. You'd want to make sure that you have space for your fingers to not touch anything. But the alternative would be take a larger piece of paper and one of the cards. And something like painter's tape, or in my case washi tape, because I'm not really fond of this one. I would just very minimal border, trying to line it up top to bottom. You can see with the low stickiness you can adjust it like that. And I want to reuse as much as I can. On the other side, trying to go for about the same amount. Stick that down. And with this, you can move the paper as you need to. Hi, kitten. You coming home? Yes, hello. Hello. I know there's big trucks. Hi, kids. Glad you're safe, baby girl. I mean, just much easier to draw. If you want to do more detailing to it, you can, and you don't have to worry about touching anything for this one. You're like, oh darn, I've just messed this up. It's locked in place. Like I said, you can move the paper around, keeps it all organized. This one here is something that I'm still figuring out the math on, because I have never actually done it. A lot of people like to do their sketchbooks and they don't like to leave any space between their drawings. I don't like that idea because I like to leave space in case I want to cut them out to give to somebody. The distance I've created here, we're looking at, if we were to do 3, we would have our 2.5 with a little space, And then, where's my brain going? Yes. And then to that line, 2.5 with a little space should leave us with a 2.5 and a little space. That's 3. So if I were to do this, I would mimic it down at this end, going down to the 8, and just going from this lower line, 2.5 and a little, I think that's 1/8 of an inch. And the little should leave us with 2.5 and a little. I like to have my square ruler because it just makes it quite a lot easier to make sure my lines are actually where I'm supposed to have them. Oh. Nothing's going to be perfect, and that is absolutely okay because we are just in the having fun, setting things up for ourselves kind of stage of life. Like that. That was completely, did not feel right, and wouldn't you know it, wasn't right. But erasers exist for a reason. We're working in pencil for a reason. Good morning, Pino. Yeah? You be safe out there, buddy. Neighbor's cat walks by for a reason. You get it. Alright. Line. I'm working in this view because it's easier for my camera. I have it set up in such a way that landscapes are just more efficient for me. All right. So that gives us 3 rows with cards. If we are doing the 3.5, which would be 11 divided by 3.5 for pi, we'd have pi. We'll fit 3 cards plus the tiny little space. We want to give that a try. It would essentially be 3.5 with our little smidgen, 3.5 and the smidgen, following 2, 3.5 and the smidgen. So what I could also do from the start of this, which we're gonna calculate out here, if I want to put the little smidgen on the outside before I even try for anything else, it gives us to our 3, and then we would do the half and our little smidge, making it there. It over. That would be our start, and that would give us the tiniest border. Don't need them so much for top or bottom, but I'm still going with. Right now I'm eyeballing. This isn't an official thing. This is just give you an idea of doing your layouts. When I and also when I say smidgen, I am quite literally just being a smartass because I think it's 1/8 of an inch. But math is not my good. Fractions and stuff like that there's nothing wrong with them. Does not mean that the computer in my brain will compute. Hooray for calculators. Fantastic inventions. As long as they don't take over my world, there's nothing wrong with the robot in the pocket. So, with this layout here, I turn it this way for you. You would have just enough space under each to write something along these lines underneath every one that you'd like. So, that would still let you write what you're supposed to be inspired by, plus the date. And then you would have the bigger, which you could use to make your drawings. If you're left-handed, I am so sorry for all of the smudging that will most likely occur here. But I was doing the rough gem. Give you an idea. I normally have it's a tiny, like a glove that covers 3 fingers and part of your hand to prevent any kind of smearing. If you were left-handed, you could also work first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth in that direction. There's nothing that says you have to go left to right. If you decide from this point that you would like to, or once they're finished, it doesn't matter. If you want to give it to somebody and you're cutting out along this border that we've created, you can easily on the back write what the challenge was and what date. So the information is there on the underside of your creation. Amongst all of these supplies, I have also got, what's that? I have my sketchbook. I've brought out different style of sketchbook. If you want to avoid the rings of frustration, I have nice flat bound sketchbook. Kitty cat hair. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's kitty hair. So we got those. You can also use the pre-gridded out pages. On my ruler selection, I've got just your standard straight ruler. There is, we have the little clear guys. I have this one I own that I love because it gives me the nice sharp edges. Or you can be more creative on multifunctions. We've got the ruler itself. You have different aspects that you can add to your work. It's a very handy ruler to have. What I'm going to be working in this year, also, index cards. There's nothing wrong with using an index card. You can use the full index card if you feel like it, or you can cut it in half as I showed earlier. Hi, cutie. Hi, Panda Bear. For myself, I prefer to use the watercolor because I tend to do the completed over the top as if I were doing an actual charter or scroll for the SCA. But I focus on the illumination side and not the calligraphy. I have the watercolor pad. This one has the texture, but as I showed in the live, you can also use the smooth side. I haven't tried to paint on this side yet, but it is a far more similar to the paper that is handed out for the illuminators to technically fill in. So, what, in comparison to the half card, it is that ½ inch longer, and that is the standard size for actual artist trading cards. The ones that you can buy in bundles of 50 or so, they come in a 2.5 by 3.5. And that is what I've used. I like to write down below what the challenge is, and if I were to hand this out, as I said, I would put it on the back side of the artwork. That way they still have a trading card sized gift. Now, as I mentioned in the live, I prefer to use the mechanical, the thin, hard lead, rather than the soft, which I love it most other times because the mechanical erases easier. I don't press super hard with either one of them, but I find that the soft lead leaves traces. So, with that, this is the tools for the illumination side of it for getting yourself started. And hopefully you take the time to make the space, mentally and physically. Enjoy your creativity and enjoy Scribetober 2024.